Welcome to The Voiceover with your host, Dee Foster III, where we discuss relevant topics that affect the culture with bold, independent commentary. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and encouraged.
What's going on? Welcome to The Voiceover Now podcast. I'm your host, Dee Foster III. Thank you so much for joining us for another exciting version of the Voiceover Now podcast. At the beginning, you know the drill. Like, share, follow. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we upload brand new, conscious, educational, informational, entertaining content. I want to say thank you for all of those of you that are watching it live every Friday at 5 p.m. And those of you who come on, bring up the bottom part and watch the replays. However you watch it, just watch it. We want to hear from you. Email us at thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. Thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. Listen, have you checked out our Voiceover Now, audio podcast? It is a live upload. It's audio, so you can listen to it at your desk, in the gym, in your car, every Wednesday, 12 noon. And of course, you can go back and catch the replay, and we dive deep into the culture. We have an eye on the culture to bring solutions, to go behind the scenes. That's what all of my podcasts is about, and bring out the truth. And listen, as you're going to find out today, we don't tell you what to think. We just present the facts and the information to make sure you think. So go over and check out the Voiceover Today audio podcast, the Voiceover Today audio podcast. And all of our podcasts are found right here on this network, WPBmedianetworks.com, WPBmedianetworks.com. I want to say shout out to founder and owner April J. for allowing us to be a part of your very prestigious. Thank you so much for allowing us to put our voice on your platform. Now, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Listen, follow us on our social media. It is the Voiceover Podcast on IG and on TikTok, and it is the Voiceover Pod on X. The Voiceover Podcast on IG and TikTok, and the Voiceover Pod on X. Have you checked us out I tell y'all, I be busy every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Yes, you have been. We've been watching the views and the likes. 7 a.m. every Sunday morning, right here again on WPBmedianetworks.com. We give a Sunday morning voice of hope connection. Just a brief word, hopefully to help you get through the week. And then we're on our Voice of Healing community prayer call. That information is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Again, I want to say thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for following, and thank you for being a part of what God is doing through the Voiceover podcast. I want to implore you, I don't do this often, as you can see, we put a lot of work into bringing you the facts. That's what I'm going to talk about today. We put a lot of work into bringing you the facts. It is time consuming. I don't do a lot of reactionary podcasts, no problem with those who do, but I like to dig deep and bring you the information so you can think for yourself. Consider supporting us. We need so much. We are expanding our voice. It costs money. Equipment costs money. We're trying to update everything we do. It's old. It's 3 to 5 years ago. We need brand new equipment. I need brand new equipment. We need brand new staging setting. Listen, hit us up if you feel generous, no particular amount, at our Zelle or PayPal. And it's simply wake up, WAKEUPP 03 at gmail.com. Wake up, WAKEUPP 03 at gmail.com. And we are a tax deductible nonprofit association. Next week, I'm going to show you some clips of our event. We have partnered with Furley Elementary for 4 years straight. And we were a part of a parent appreciation luncheon last week. And so next week, I'm going to show you a few clips of that. I want to say thank you. Now, If you notice, I'm in a different setting. I have no computer. I have no script in front of me. Because this podcast, which is very unusual for me, is impromptu to a degree. I pride, in the positive sense, myself in doing the work, doing the research. I prepare a week in advance of the topics that I'm going to share with you. I talk to people who may know a little bit about the topic directly. I go online, I research, I study, I connect dots, and a lot of work and mental preparation goes into these podcasts, goes into the Sunday morning Voice of Hope connection, goes into the Voice Over Today audio podcast, goes into this podcast, plus the other work that I do. I said that to say this. One of the reasons that I do podcasts, and every podcaster, every blogger has a motive. Mine was never ever for clicks, clickbait, views, monetizing. I mean, if those things come, I'm fine with it, and they will come. But I never started this or any podcast or any radio show or any media. I want you to hear, like this, share this, follow this. Endeavor for money. I've always been motivated. That's why I'm the CEO of Wake Up Global Networks. Wake Up. I've always been motivated. I've had radio shows, Wake Up. This is the voice over. And the concept of that, I'm going somewhere, was to be a voice over all the chatter and dig down to the truth. So the motive of me coming to you each and every week has been nothing more than to bring you the facts and let you determine the truth. I'm saying this for a reason. I've never meant, never desired, tried to be salacious in my content. I'm very bold. I'm very independent. I'm very passionate about what I do. But I've never tried to just create a topic of salaciousness or slander or gossip just so people can tune in to this podcast. If you looked at our promotion, my plan was to entitle this podcast today. I'm recording this, and this is going to make sense in a minute. I pre-record our podcast because of my time schedule. I can't always be in place yet to do live on Friday. We will eventually. So I pre-record, usually midweek, so that there's editing time, so that to make sure the quality is right before we bring it to you. So usually midweek, the latest Thursday morning, but usually before then, I record what you see on Friday. And I spend the prior week studying. I'm used to that because for more than 30 years, I had to study for Bible study and Sundays and seminars. So that's a lifestyle, studying, getting to the root, getting to the bottom. Share this, like it, subscribe. So, unlike normal, and simply because I get news over my phone and I don't have time a lot of times to sit down and be glued to the evening news every afternoon. But for some reason on Tuesday, right before our spiritual class, had opportunity to sit down while I was eating and watched If you're in the DMV, Channel 45. And to my surprise, because again, I'm not glued to certain stories or certain figures, but a news caption popped on that Marilyn Mosby, former Baltimore State's attorney, and I won't go into the backstory. Most of you viewing know the backstory. She was indicted and convicted of several charges and all of that, is going to court on Thursday for sentencing. Now, what's interesting about this is I had planned a podcast, and I'm going to still do it, but not now, and you'll understand why. I had planned a podcast entitled Leave Color and Gender Out of It, and Let's Deal with the Facts. That's what I do. I try not, as a integral commentator journalist, to bring my personal opinion into it. We all bring our personal opinions, but I try not to allow my personal opinion as a commentator commenting on stories and issues to override facts. There's too much of that. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast. So I was going to do a story, not knowing until yesterday. I believe it was synchronicity, and I'll tell you why. That she is standing trial for sentencing on tomorrow, Thursday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. So by the time you see this on Friday, the sentence or the pardon would have been handed down. Now, I'm about to share with you a story of integrity and journalistic responsibility, which in my opinion, there is too little of. So when I saw the story, and one of the reasons I was going to do the story is because even in Atlanta, a lot of people have a misconception about the historical events that has led Marilyn Mosby to this point. And all over, I was hearing different versions. So because I get to the truth, and again, not to tell people what to think, but to give you the tools so that you can do your own thinking and come up with your own conclusion. I did a week's investigation, a lot of reading. I read the indictment. I read articles because I wanted to know the truth. I talked to people that were close to the story. I simply wanted to get to the truth. That's it. So I was going to leave color and gender based on what I saw out of it, and let's deal with the facts. That's in my opinion, integral journalism. Not salaciousness, not embellishing for likes and views, not gossiping unnecessarily. That kind of stuff comes back on you. Anyway, so immediately share this, because I'm saying this as a lesson to those future podcasters, future commentators, future journalists. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow. I believe divinely in synchronicities, that God will show us what we need at the time we need to see it, to say, don't go in a direction or go in a direction. And as soon as I saw it, I said, I can't do my planned podcast. Now you said, why? The information is out there. I get it. First of all, By the time you see this, the sentence has been handed down. If the sentence was jail time, what integrity do I have putting a negative energy out there? I mean, I recorded this on Wednesday, so I wouldn't have known what the verdict was. But I believe God let me sit down and see that spot on 45. Now, I have to tell you, I have my personal thoughts. I have my personal thoughts of how I believe this is going to end. But I wouldn't wish jail on nobody, even if it's deserved. You got to go back and listen to my audio podcast I did on P. Diddy in the Cassie. Now that I did. That I went in. You can listen to that audio version. That I had very little mercy when you look at that sickening video. So I went in on that. But this is a little different for me. Marilyn Mosby has 2 younger daughters. Their mom is standing, whatever we think or not, their mom is standing trial for her life. As a representative of God, there is no way, regardless of what I think, regardless of even what the truth is. Now, I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do it. But this is not the time. She has family. And I always say, even when I bring up people in my podcast, I never weaponize people. Because people have innocent family, they have friends, they have spouses, and they deserve respect. I don't know. Some of you watching this could know Marilyn Mosby and could have sent her the copy, or sent her children, or sent her family the copy. There is my journalistic integrity. I fight for my journalistic integrity. So understand this. Though I wouldn't have been wrong journalistically to go forth with the podcast, knowing that the day before, when you heard it, she may have been sentenced to prison. I don't know. I didn't want to take that chance. My integrity means too much. And all my podcasts, though it would have been filled with truth in facts, in quotes, it would have simply been viewed as throwing negative energy on an already negative situation. Somebody says, well, if she's convicted, she's getting what she deserves. That's a whole different tale. Yes, amen. Yes, right. But this has nothing to do with my responsibility. I'll deal with that in the podcast that I still will do. So I'm still going to do it. Leave gender and color out and let's deal with the truth. I just wasn't going to do it today. What gives me passion as a host of the VoiceOver Now and the VoiceOver Today audio podcast and all of what I do on Sundays and in my private space is my integrity. That what I'm saying is uplifting, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not, that it's uplifting, that it's true to the best of my knowledge, that it's spoken with the right motive, and that I put in the work I could get on here every week and pull a video and no pun intended. Everybody has their journalistic call. But when I dig deep and make calls and online for hours and reading, I read the indictment, the whole indictment. Because I didn't want to hear just news articles. I didn't want to hear opinions. I wanted the real information. And there's no realer information than a federal indictment. That's what we do here. So I will never go on hearsay. Having said that, though I could have done the podcast, this is a lesson to journalists, to YouTubers, because there's a lot of fabrication for follows and likes, because that's how you make your money. I don't make my money like this yet. I'm here to bring facts and truth. And if I can't uplift, even with a hard truth, even like last week when I dealt with the current, that was hard. The Reverend Jesse Jackson issue with Freddie Haynes. But it was still to bring things to light. It was still to cause you to think about how we are handling future leaders. It was never personal. But this is a little different. Possible jail time is a little different. That's the fight of your life. And so this is my confession. Rather than release a story that's true at the wrong time and do damage to those involved in the story, I'll keep it. Because in keeping a right story and not releasing it at the wrong time, I keep my journalistic integrity. See, I don't get on here hoping you like me as a person. I'm sure you do, or you may not know me, or you may know me. But what matters to me is not that you agree with everything that I say, not that you like how I say. Y'all know me. I can be out there. That's just who I am. That's who I am. I'ma say it raw, straight, no chaser. But more than anything, when you view me every week or listen to me, I want you not to have second guess my integrity in the matter. That's why I stopped listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of bloggers. I stopped listening to some talk shows, some radio talk shows that I used to listen to every day like clockwork, when I realized they weren't speaking from conviction. They weren't speaking from truth. I'm out. We got enough fake stuff in life. And the Voice Over Now podcast will never be one of. No matter how this goes for Marilyn Mosby, no matter what she did to cause it, she still needs our prayers. Her family still needs our prayers. You say, well, yeah, that's the God in me. That's the part of me I can't and won't ever get rid of. I am constrained to be his representative in the earth. So I just want to come and share with you. We all will be tested in our integrity. We all going to be tested because with journalism, when you get the ears of people, when people believe in you enough to listen to you, that comes with a lot of responsibility. And most people, not all, most people, especially on YouTube and social media, they just look at the check they get. They don't care what they're putting out there. They don't care how they're lowering the vibration. They don't care who they're slandering in the meanwhile. They don't care who hurts in the meanwhile. They don't care who they're giving trauma to. Just give me the likes and the follows and the check. That is short-lived. Because when you have the likes and the follows and the check, it means nothing when you don't have your integrity. This is what Pluto back in Capricorn is coming to judge. All of the lack of integrity in the media, especially mainstream. The 45 served one good thing. It broke that story in time enough for me to pull my story. For now. But I will release that. There's a pool of emotions about what's going on with Marilyn Mosby. A pool of, I think Ben Crump is coming in, or you'll see this on Friday, came into town, if plans went accordingly, on yesterday. She's been making a media circuit to get pardoned by the president. So there's a pool of emotions going on. Why would I feed into that now? Let some of the dust settle. There are plenty of things to talk about. I'm not short on information. Unless, however this turns out, whether you feel she deserved it or not. Let's pray for her. Jail is no easy thing. Being separated from your family, your friends, your freedom. But this is simply, in my opinion, a lesson in journalistic integrity. If it's going to hurt more than it helps, we may not need to say it, at least at this moment. I'm D. Foster III, CEO and President of Wake Up Global Networks. Like this, share this. I want to hear from you. Our email is thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. If you're listening to this on the 24th, have a super duper Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Don't forget, wherever you are, even if you're on that cruise, you can flip on that phone and join me Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Got a word, the Voice of Hope Connection, to get you through the week. On the behalf of the whole entire Wake Up Global Networks team, I want to say you have a voice. Keep lifting it.
Thank you for being a part of The Voiceover. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected to our upcoming shows and guests. Instagram at The Voiceover Radio. Twitter at DPropheticI. That's the letter D, prophetic, EYE. If this show has enriched you in any way, please share The Voiceover among your circle. Until next time, keep allowing your voice to be heard.